Audio. We are live, baby. Let's go. Do I know what I'm doing? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? I don't. Welcome to the Intelligent Idiots Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Always on 10. And today we have something a little special, a little crazy, but I hope you enjoy. We are doing episode number 2, but the theme today is misogyny, right? And we're going to start this episode out not with the first story, but with a definition. So people who are listening who don't know, may not know, may have never looked it up, may just see it as a buzzword from TikTok and the rest of the internet, right? Because the internet. We go straight to Google, suffer, and from Oxford Languages, their input on the definition: misogyny, dislike of, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against women. Again, dislike of, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against women. And then we're going to break that down even further, right? We're going to bring it over to contempt for people who may not know the definition of that word, right? Again, Google, Oxford, not Merriam-Webster, Oxford, right? Contempt, the feeling that a person or thing is beneath consideration, worthless, or deserving scorn, right? If you don't know what ingrained means, your parents suck. Of a habit, belief, or attitude, firmly fixed or established, difficult to change, right? And prejudice, a preconceived opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience. And each of these words within this larger definition of misogyny can be broken down even further, right? And examined, which it has been. But we ain't doing all that. And we're going to cap this out with a reading straight from the National Library of Medicine, PubMed Central, baby. We have a few paragraphs for you. Misogyny, feminism, and sexual harassment. The term misogyny is derived from the ancient Greek word misogyny, which means hatred towards women. Misogyny has taken shape in multiple forms, such as male privilege, patriarchy, gender discrimination, sexual harassment, belittling of women, violence against women, and sexual objectification. The roots of misogyny can be traced back to an ancient Greek mythology. According to Hesiod, before women came into existence, men were coexisting peacefully as companions to gods until Prometheus decided to steal the secret of fire from the god, which angered Zeus. Zeus punished mankind with an evil thing for their delight called Pandora, the first woman who carried a box which unleashed all evils such as labor, sickness, old age, and death. As mythology spilled its vices about women, every religion had their own viewpoint. Hinduism presents diverse view. Why does that read like that? Hinduism presents diverse view about the position of women, and some texts place women as the highest goddess, and some restrict them to the role of a mother, daughter, and wife, as described by Manusmriti. Tertullian, the father of Latin Christianity, said that being a female is a curse given by God, and they are the devil's gateway. In Islam, the Holy Book Quran has a 4th chapter called An-Nisa, meaning women. The 34th verse is a key verse in the feminist criticism of Islam, which reads, "Men are in charge of women by right of what Allah has given one over the other and what they spend for maintenance from their wealth. So righteous women are devoutly obedient. But those wives from whom you fear arrogance, first advise them, then if they persist, forsake them in bed, and finally strike them. But if they obey you, once more, seek no means against them." Misogyny over the years has evolved as an ideology which has engulfed the society as a smog which diminishes. Why can't I say it right the first time? Misogyny Misogyny over years has evolved as an ideology which has engulfed the society as a smog which diminishes their sight to aurora. Great philosophers, socialists, and thinkers of golden era were subdued by roars of male dominant society, which narrowed their vision and made them a supporter of patriarchal society. Aristotle, who was an ancient Greek philosopher, was a scientist and also a misogynist. He thought of women as a deformity, an incomplete male. He preached that men should always command and women should always follow, as they are the inferior being created by God. Misogyny at its front had male supporters, but over years, few females also supported the ideology, as stated by sociologist Michael Flood. Over centuries, women have been suppressed. Their rights were neglected as a human being. They were treated as a lower part of the society, and their roles were restricted to household chores and birthing. Prolonged oppression raised many voices and collectively led to a concept of feminism, which started the longest movement in history, which still continues. Fem- femin- Feminism is a gamut of socio-political movements and ideologies that share a common goal to delineate, establish, and achieve political, economic, personal, and social equality of the sexes. Feminist movements over decades have campaigned for rights of women, including the right to vote, to hold public office, to work, to earn fair wages or equal pay, to own property, to receive education, to enter contracts, to have equal rights within marriage, and to have maternity leave. Jeez. Feminists have also worked to promote bodily autonomy and integrity and to protect women and girls from brutal crimes such as rape, sexual harassment, and domestic violence. None of this should even have to have been done. All this should just be basic. It should just be basic stuff. It should already be ingrained. But mm, mm, people suck. All right, let me not get my take yet. The modern feminist movement could be divided into four waves. Each wave dealt with different aspects of the same feminist issues. The first wave of feminism started with the women's suffrage movement in 1848 in New York under the leadership of Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton. The movement aimed at promoting women's rights to vote. The second wave, which started somewhere in the 1960s, campaign for the legal and social equality for women. It included issues about their reproductive rights, legal inequalities, domestic violence, marital rape, and divorce law. The third wave, which began in the 1990s, dealt with issues such as sex positive feminism, intersectionality, trans feminism, vegetarian ecofeminism, and postmodern feminism. Sex positive feminism, or sexual liberal feminism, propagates the idea of sexual freedom being an essential component of women's freedom. The term intersectionality was coined by civil rights activist Kimberly Williams Crenshaw. This theory considers that various aspects of humanity, such as class, race, sexual orientation, and gender, are not separate, but interwoven, and the relationships are essential to an understanding of human conditions. It focused on abolishing gender role stereotypes and expanding feminism to include women of various culture. Transfeminism, as defined by scholar and activist Amy Koyama, constituted a movement for liberation of trans women. Vegetarian ecofeminism postulates that all types of oppression, like casteism, racism, and sexism, are associated with each other. It is a kind of interhuman oppression. A major belief of ecofeminism is that there is a strong connection between the domination of women and the domination of nature, and that both must be eradicated in order to end oppression. Postmodern feminism has two components, i.e., liberal feminism and radical feminism. The former being an individualistic form of feminist theory, which focuses on women's abilities to maintain their equality by uplifting themselves in fields of academics and other domains by which they can make better decisions and attain equal political and legal rights. Radical feminism, on the other hand, demands drastic reordering of society in which male supremacy is eliminated and all social and economic contexts. We over here, baby. We over here. We're gonna bring this over here. We over here. The fourth wave feminism refers to a kind of feminism that began around 2012, which targets sexual harassment, campus sexual harassment, rape culture, workplace discrimination, body shaming, sexist imagery in the media, online misogyny, assault on public transport, and other types of harassment that is associated with the use of social media. The recent issues, which were shocking and horrid, like nearby Delhi gang rape, Harvey Weinstein allegations, and Bill Cosby allegations, gave birth to campaigns like Everyday Sexism Project, No More Page 3, and the recent hashtag MeToo movement. The issues had drawn significant focus and brought legal reforms in issues such as sexual harassment at workplace, as many women are employed in private, government, or unorganized sectors. Sexual harassment constitutes a gross violation of human rights and women's right to equality and dignity. It is illegal to harass a person because of their gender, and sexual harassment includes unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, other verbal or physical harassment of a sexual nature. Workplace sexual harassment, like other forms of violence, is not harmless. It involves a serious health, human, and economic and social costs, which manifest themselves in the overall development indices of a nation. Its prevalence and the constant uproar brought legal actions like Sexual Harassment Act 2012 to cease the silent menace. It is commendable to note the progress made by women over centuries, and the fight will continue until the roots of misogyny is removed from the world with the wave of liberalization as a part of globalization. It was expected that religious and conservative societies would become more gender sensitive and provide equal access to education and employment. However, in some places, these hopes have bellied due to rise of religious fundamentalism. It is important to note that even liberal Christian societies are yet to attain complete gender equality, so one should not despair at tardy progress in our country. Without equal access to education, equal opportunity, economic emancipation, gender equality will remain a chimera. Now, my pronunciation on some of these words absolutely sucks. Sucks. So, my apologies. If you want to read this and read everything that they have to pull from for their references, you can go over to PubMed. I will probably forget to link this in the caption, but if I don't, or if I do, misogyny, feminism, and sexual harassment, then just type in PubMed, National Library of Medicine, on DuckDuckGo, Google, Yahoo search, whatever you prefer, right? So we're starting with our first story from Am I the Asshole? 8 months ago by Bitterworth7367. Mm, mm, Nope. I'm a millennial, not a child. Not a child. Ooh, not a child. Not a baby. All right. Am I the asshole for not forgiving my father after messing up my family? I, 26 male, have an awful relationship with my dad, 59, which has been tense for years. But it got worse after finding out about an affair he's been having since 2018, lying about her being just a friend. He teaches at a university I studied at, which is 2 hours away from my home state. Here's a summarized timeline for how this developed. 2018, my mom found out about this and made the request to not contact her anymore. That didn't happen. 2019, he started a midlife crisis, buying expensive and useless shit to feel younger. I was hospitalized for 2 months, but he still traveled in the gap between Christmas and New Year. I was too sick to do the math, but now it's too obvious. 2020, COVID hit. My chest hurts thinking about it. And my sister Natalie got engaged. Important for later. After that, mom learned he was buying the other teachers' children's gifts on Amazon. 2021, his crisis got worse, followed by misogyny, queerphobia, and having crushes on people of my sister's age, 26 at the time. 26 at the time. I graduated from college, and on New Year's Eve, mom discovered he was not only still texting her, but meeting with her, ruining mom's New Year. 2022, I started working to save money and gave dad my first salary to help him travel for it because he didn't have anything for that week, and found out later that he spent it on a parachute session for both of them. He told Natalie he wanted to divorce mom for being too demanding, making her hate mom. She finally exposed everything a month before Natalie's wedding, and instead of helping with wedding expenses, he bought more gifts for the other kids. What's worse is that it's hard for mom to file a divorce because her job isn't enough to sustain even one person. Mm, I mean, I can read. I just, what's worse, I'm gonna leave that in. I'm gonna leave that in. I even gave her money of my salary for a year, and that didn't cut it. The wedding happened, and Natalie moved with her husband. I tried to have a conversation with my dad, but the best I got was that if he needed to apologize, it was with my mom because I quote, "I didn't do anything wrong to either you or my Natalie." 2023 and 2024 were followed by drinking. He's not an alcoholic, but drinks excessively. Natalie had a baby, and dad was making the not funny joke of sneaking beer into the baby's formula. The company I work for shut down, but I managed to save my MA, master's. Bad side, I'm down to my last penny, so I have to live with my parents. I do help whenever I can with what I have, but I know it's hard for my mom to deal with them because she is looking for both of us. Looking out for? You didn't type that. So I'm looking to leave whenever I can so she can be able to make more choices. 2025, here we are. Oh, no, it's 2026. Oh, time has blown. It's February. Uh, Dad even forgets how old I am. Tries to connect with me by pissing me off and is useless around the house. Mom even found out again that he still talks to this woman. And I have this grudge against him, but I have the moral weight of he's my dad and I have to respect him. When he has disrespected my entire family for so long, I feel cornered and I can't wait to leave. But I ask you, Redditors, am I an asshole for not forgiving my father? Why would you? What would you forgive him for? What do you think is forgivable here? What is he even asking you to forgive him? From 2018 to 2025, this is 8 months old, so probably 2026. Right, for the past 7 years. 7 years, you were a baby. You're 26. Still kind of a baby. Finally going into adulthood. Well, I mean, you're going for your master, so it's big boy shit. This is insanity, right? He's my dad, and I have to respect him. So, since we ran through definitions for misogyny, we're going to run through definitions for respect, right? A feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements, right? Admiration for someone's qualities, abilities, or achievements, right? And I have this quote in my head as the utmost admiration for someone's qualities, abilities, and or achievements. Someone or some things, right? What abilities are you admiring? What qualities are you admiring? What achievements are you admiring? What are we doing here? None of these would be positive abilities, qualities, or achievements, right? These are some of these most negative, mm, disgusting things you can possibly do, right? You're philandering around your job place with another teacher, I believe, possibly, and her kids, taking care of their family instead of taking care of your own, to the point where your wife is suffering and your son is teetering on probably bashing your head in. Because I know, 7 years of this shit, 7 years of this. You married this woman, popped two kids out, and you're on demon time. Let me see. So the word that people always mix together with respect is respectable, right? The adjective version, which doesn't really coincide, mesh well with respect. Regarded by society to be good, proper, or correct. All right. How is that admiration for someone's qualities, abilities, or achievements? Right. So it is a societal push on multiple levels, all the way from home, built out through family, work, school, and the overarching country, city that you are in. Right. So respectability, respectable, uh, changes wherever you may go and be. Right. You may go to a different time zone, and it is different there for you to have respect for someone, right? It is dictated by society and changes over time as well. So I definitely don't like the usage of that word. You do not have to respect this man because there is nothing to be respected about him. We're going to go to the comments by Not Your Dad BR. You should probably be his dad because he needs it. A real role model in his life as he goes to get married himself and pop some kids out. Cause God, he's 27 now. Ooh. Your mom should talk to a lawyer. She might be entitled to alimony after all these years they've been married. Also, is the university aware of the affair? They may have policies against it. And OP replies, I tried, but she just won't. As for the university, nobody knows but my direct family. And this post does not have a lot of comments. It's like 32 of them. And OP comments a fair amount of times, which is all of two. Two times, I believe. I'm terrible for this. He replied to a comment that was deleted because the account got deleted. And OP replies, OP stands for original poster. If you don't know, now you know. Because when I started reading Reddit stories, I did not know who the fuck OP was or AITA. I'm like, AITA. Then I had to go click and read. Oh, am I the asshole? OP replies, I was not. I lent him the money because he claimed he couldn't afford the hotel for the days he was staying that week. It was until later when mom found the parachute tickets with a receipt for the exact amount I gave him and showed them to me. So here he is lying to his own son, pulling money from his pockets at his very first job, right, that he is working while in school to finesse him to go philander. I'm sorry. Let me be real. To go fuck around with his side bitch. Like, because there's no respect that I could possibly have for the other woman. You know this man is married. You know this man is married. You have to give excuses to why you can't bring this woman as a date to your daughter's wedding. Wedding. I'm actually curious. Did he give her away? OP, it's been 8 months since you dropped this. I need an update. I need to know. I need to know just that. We got a bunch of not the assholes. Your father is honestly a sad man. His actions will drive him to die alone and be remembered by the people he's hurt, by all the pain he's caused. Let me see. Is there a really good comment that I like? Because again, there's not a lot of comments on this. You can go read this yourself. There is only 32 of these. There's some weird thinking that a biological connection via DNA somehow supersedes basic human decency and kindness. It doesn't. Not the asshole. Cut the cord. I like that. I like that. Um, People have this concept of family first, family over everything. Blood is thicker than water, right? But what is it? What is it? The water of the womb. Oh, what is that quote? What is that quote? It might have already popped into your head as soon as I said that. Let me see. Uh-uh. Pay no attention to how I type. I type like a child. Ooh, there it is. And who knows if this quote is actually older than blood is thicker than water, right? But the thought is that this quote precedes that and it has been changed, flipped, twisted, and reversed, right? Into being bullshit to force you to always, you know, stick around with shitty family members that you should not, right? People who steal from you, people who hurt you in physical and mental ways. Staying by your parents who did you dirty all the way until you had to pay for pay for them being in a home, if not have them in your home, because sometimes, hey, a 90-year-old needs to have a professional wipe their ass. Now, the quote is the bonds between people who have made a blood covenant or shed blood together in battles are stronger than those formed by the water of the womb. What the fuck? That is not the quote I was thinking of. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. And there is so much controversy and battling that took place over the past 2 years about this. And who cares? Or matter of fact, since 2014, social media probably did it because people are like, blood is thicker than water. Who, water is necessary for me to live, though. I'm 70% water. I'm more water than blood. I need to turn my AC off. Hold on. Let me see. Still recording. I did so much setting up just to not turn my AC off or anything else that makes sounds in my house. But I put my phone on do not disturb. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Just because this person raised you, just because he is married to your mother, does not mean you have to treat him well, for he is hurting your mother. Right? If any random person on the street hurt your mother, what would you do to them? Think about that. Right? In a physical way and a verbal way, what would you do? Because this is up there. If your father was beating on your mother, what would you do? Right? What steps would you take to separate the two of them? What plans would you make to get her to safety? Because we are talking about things that are equal in a way that would allow her to divorce, get out, and get an alimony check from this man. Because if he's working at a university and your mom can't afford to live on her own, oh, am I missing that comment? Yeah, I think there was a comment like that saying that she can't afford to live on her own with the job that she has. Yeah, yeah, you need to help her get out. Right. Use your job that you may not have right now because it's been 8 months. I don't know if you have a job, if you're back in school for your master's, um, to help her get with a lawyer and get the fuck on. Right. You guys, they have been married for probably damn near 3 decades, if not longer. She gonna get half. She's for sure gonna get half, or at least get a percentage that covers her living expenses until she can get up into any career that she may want to have or simply retire because your dad is 59. Yeah, you only got a couple more years. Moving on. All right. We're over in the Am I the Asshole subreddit with a post that's 9 months old by Archer Python. Am I the asshole for grabbing a trash bag from my coworker? Okay, so context. I just started my summer job at a neighborhood coffee cafe. It's pretty chill. It's just your basic barista, make drinks, clean, sweep, etc. Again, just a summer gig while class is in to make some chump change. Today at work, my coworker, female, was changing the recycling, pulling it out to tie, then replacing it with an other bag. Your grammar hurts my soul. The last job I had before this, I was the only male. A lot of times when the girls there would change the trash, they would say it's heavy and need help. So I would, of course, do it for them to make it easier for them. I'm a bigger guy that goes to the gym, so lifting, carrying things are nothing to me. So by reflex, I grabbed the bag from her to do it myself. And as soon as I did, I immediately said in a sarcastic and annoyed tone, oh, wait, I'm fucking around too much. uh, so by reflex, I grabbed the bag from her to do it myself. And as soon as I did it, she immediately said in a sarcastic and annoyed tone, oh, that's cute. You don't think I can lift it up and I can do it myself? It's fine. I can do it. And I did not say that in a sarcastic tone. I didn't take it personally. I just said, okay, that's fine. And again, I just started. I don't want a problem with anyone. Fast forward to later in the shift, she comes up to me and tells me she wants to talk to me before I clock out. And I agree, no issue. And we go to the bag. We start talking and she goes in on me. Quote unquote. Why did you try to help me with the garbage beforehand? Did you think I can't do it? Do you think it's right to treat women that way? To grab the bag away from them like they're not able to do it? I explained to her very calmly, absolutely not. I respect women and I didn't mean to offend her. Then she says, all day and last time we were on shift, that you were constantly telling me how to do my job and explaining to me how to do stuff and repeating things back to me when I've been working here longer than you have. Again, I told her I would never intentionally disrespect her and apologize. And she said, don't do it again. Then we left and I clocked out for my shift. I'm just very upset. I would never be misogynist in my life. I was raised by my single mom and grandma all my life. I have friends that are women that are my ride or die. Me and my boyfriend both support women's rights and we call out misogyny always. I don't remember ever telling her how to do her job or repeating things back to her, like demeaning her. Again, I would never, ever be hateful towards women. Again, I just feel terrible. I don't want to be seen as the hateful new hire or assume I'm a bigot. I just don't want any drama or bad blood. Should I have not assumed she needed help with the trash? Again, it was just a reflex from my old job. I just wanted to make it easier for her. I would love, 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 love for there to be some introspection, right? Are you the asshole? Seems like an unintentional asshole. Because how do you not remember doing the things that she told you that you did, right? You're upset because you don't want to be seen like a misogynist, like an asshole, like a bigot, right? Rather than you saying to her that she's lying to your face. Because she's saying that you were constantly telling me how to do my job and explaining to me how to do stuff and repeating things back to me when I've been working here longer than you have. How are you unconsciously doing these things? Because you don't remember this. You don't remember it happening. You don't remember it to the point where if somebody said this to me, I'd be like, bitch, who the fuck? Huh? Never said that. Don't lie to me. Don't lie on me to my face. Right? You don't want any problems and you don't want to be perceived as an asshole. But it seems like you unintentionally are being an asshole. Right? You've been Pavloved by your old job into being helpful because your old job was mostly women, right? You were the only dude, I'm assuming. I think I read and I forgot just that quickly. Blame me. I suck. But you can't just hop in a motherfucker's face and just grab it out their hands, right? And try to be helpful. Because if I'm over here doing my thing and you think I need help, or you're just off of reflexes and snatch something out my hands, on reflex, I might hit you. But I'm a different kind of person, right? So we're gonna go down to the comments, top comments. We got a small amount of comments with this one too, right? 39 of these boys, so you can go read all of them because I won't. Bro, you're a new hire. Don't go around telling people how to do their job. You just started. Oh my God. Yes, you're the asshole because clearly this is something you aren't consciously doing. Obviously, I read this comment. Seeing how, as you don't remember doing it, giving her unsolicited help and advice because she is a woman and it's bothering her. If she had been a boy, same height and build, you probably wouldn't have had the same reflex to reach out and help her. Also, having a mom and female friends in your life does not exempt you from misogyny. Sometimes people say and do things that are based on misogyny without even realizing it. At least now that she's told you, and it only seemed to happen across a few days, you can learn from this and not do it again. This is not your old job. This is a new job with completely new people. While it's okay to offer help, you should ask first. Never assume. Also, don't offer help for something that is typically a one person task because, male or female, it can come off as condescending. Yeah. Shout out to Jamin43 with that comment. And we got beautiful debts. Wait, does OP reply? Does OP have any comments? OP does not have any comments. Oh, I'm sad. OP does not have any comments. That sucks. All right. Where was I just at? Beautiful Debt 5864. You're the asshole. Imagine if you were about to make a drink and she grabbed the cup from your hand to make it instead. Would you feel like she was just trying to help? Would that be your gut instinct? You may not have meant anything disrespectful, but it absolutely was. You didn't offer help. Not that she was asking for any. You just stepped in and took over. I don't know how she's not supposed to take that as misogyny or disrespect. I sure would. It's the workplace, not a fair in the 1800s. Let her carry the bag, right? We started this off with feminism, and I think I should have had a basic definition for the word. And before I finish typing it, I need autocorrect. Because y'all heard that. Y'all heard me the clickety clacks of my keyboard. I did not spell that right. Ooh, good Lord. My brain is deteriorating from using an iPhone for the past decade. Oh, the ease of use in this world has turned me into a puppet of the capitalistic system. What happens when it crumbles? My thought process for even in real life, I need autocorrect. My thought process for feminism, from what I've put into my brain from things I have heard and the little I have read, because I have not read any books on it, is that men and women are equal. And most definitely in my fucking head, they are. I don't care about bone density, lung capacity, the length of my luscious locks. Right. I can do anything and anything better than all of you because I'm Mr. Always on 10, the greatest to ever live, and I'm your host. But as far as I'm concerned, at a very base level, there are 8 billion people in this world, 4 billion women, and 4 billion minus 2 or 3 dumbasses, men, right? Because it's 51 to 49. We do crazy shit and die faster than y'all. Sorry. But I plan to live a long life. Long life. Ain't never broke no bones. Will I probably do some parachuting, some skydiving? Absolutely. But I won't cheat on my wife to do it. And if you're just watching this story by itself, there's another story you can listen to that is right before this one in the longer video version, or if you're listening to this on Spotify or any other podcast services, before this, that connects that. Oh man, I'm all over the place, and I took my medicine today. So yeah, feminism. Men and women are equal. Feminism that was based upon Britannica. We're not going with Wikipedia because I know how y'all feel, but y'all should absolutely use the references for that. We're going to type in the word definition. Let's see what Oxford got for your boy. The advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes. That is so basic, and I don't want it to seem like advocacy. So we're going to go with Wiki. Feminism is a range of socio-political movements and ideologies that aim to define and establish the political, economic, personal, and social equality of the sexes. I guess we had a very good definition over on the PubMed article that I read. Yes, we're going to stick with that. Yes, feminism is a gamut of socio-political movements and ideologies that share a common goal to delineate, establish, and achieve political, economic, personal, and social equality of the sexes. Yes. Okay, I'm cool with it. Yeah, men and women are equal, though. Real basic. Was there anything else I wanted to read from these comments? I just learned how to whistle. And I just forgot how to whistle. That's a fun fact. I don't know how to actually whistle. I just did that one day a couple weeks ago, and I was like, what? Huh? I'm whistling? I was just making sounds with my mouth, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I have a misaligned jaw, so I think that's the issue. But shout out to my parents. They didn't want a dentist to crack my jaw in several places and have me sleep for several months with headgear on all day, every day. They did not want me to get bullied and go to school and cut motherfuckers. Wait, is YouTube going to allow for that? YouTube, that was not me threatening anybody. I was talking about what my parents didn't want me to do, and I'm being a little facetious. They didn't actually think about me cutting people. And I should shut the fuck up. All right, moving on. Water break. Stanley, sponsor me. We're over in the Am I the Asshole subreddit with a post that is 10 months old by Board March 97. Am I the asshole for calling out my friend's misogyny, even if he meant it as a compliment? A few days ago, 5 friends of mine were chilling at home. One of my friends, let's call him Tom, was telling us about people. Your spelling and your grammar. I know you're typing this on your phone. I'm having issues typing on my computer without autocorrect, but I still use my commas. And that's just because I'm just tapping along with my little T-Rex arms, right? I'm just, oh, fuck. I didn't mean to do that. I almost broke my computer, right? I'm reading your stories, and I skim through them in advance to see if I like them, but I'm not going word by word to make sure that your grammar's spot on. And sometimes I do, but your spelling, a few days ago, 5 friends of mine were chilling at home. One of my friends, let's call him Tom, was telling us about traffic violation stories. Let's call him Tom, was telling us about his traffic violation stories. His, not has, his. Matter of fact, hold on. What are we doing here? Yes, I'm looking at my keyboard and I'm looking at the keyboard on my phone. The A is nowhere near the I. How often are you typing has? How often are you doing that? How badly did you spell it for your autocorrect to turn the A into an A from an I? What the I? H-I-S. Whoop. H-A-S. What were you typing? H-I-S. And off the phone. H-I-S. You must have hit H-O-S. I'm seeing it. Was it H-O-S? Or did you hit H, tap the I didn't work, and you double tapped S? Whatever. Starting over, but I'm gonna keep this one in. A few days ago, 5 friends of mine were chilling at home. One of my friends, let's call him Tom, was telling us about his traffic violation stories. He said 2 stories. In the first one, he talked about how he got pulled over and the cop gave him 2 tickets and a warning. The story started as, I got pulled over and the cop walked over to the passenger side and I was on the side that was facing the road. The second story was about being pulled over, but he started the story as, I was, well, I saw the police lights and a cop walking over, a lady cop, a female cop. At this time, one of the girls in the group asked him why did he not mention the gender of the cop in his first story. She mostly meant it as a joke. I added to that comment by saying this comes from internalized misogyny, also mostly joking. At this point, Tom started defending himself and turned it into a big fight, which concluded with, let's forget about it and talk about other things. My boyfriend, who was also there, said he does not see an issue with his comment and it did not need to be a big argument. My stance was it's not an issue, but the fact that the first thing he mentioned about the cop is her gender was a little unsettling. Even if he was complimenting her for her understanding, complimenting her. Why did that sound weird when I said it? So, am I the asshole for calling out my friend for mentioning the gender of the second cop who was female and not the first cop who was a male? And we got a couple edits here for the people who are commenting in the comments. She's talking about this edit. Lots of people are saying that I called my friend a sexist in the story. Sexist in the story. Not the case. I called out his internalized misogyny, which we are all guilty of, and that does not make it right. And said to him that you are not misogynistic or sexist at all. There is a big difference in mind. So at least she wasn't going after him, right? She was just saying, hey, this is internalized. Edit. He did not complete the story and the gender was not relevant. Okay. Hey, I can whistle again. Fuck. All right. And I can't whistle anymore. We are just all about educating ourselves, right? This is for the people who don't understand what internalized means, and for myself who can't spell it. Oh, I can't spell for shit. Let me see. We got a definition from the Journal of Integrated Social Sciences. I can't spell, but I can read. Is there different parts of my brain that are working and not working? Or is it just I am poorly trained and am so reliant on autocorrect? All right. Because I'm not part of that, or I am part of that generation who had typing classes, but I did not take those typing classes. So I am just tapping along with 1 or 2 fingers. Internalized misogyny in women refers to internalized feelings of self-hatred that perpetuate the belief in their own inferiority to men and the unjust denial of their entitlement to equal rights. Why the fuck did I read that? I want to internalize misogyny in men, not in women. Internalized misogyny in men. You judge women's sexual behavior differently from men's sexual behavior. You're disgusted at seeing women's body hair. You believe women are too emotional to be good leaders. You are not good, or they are not good at science/sports, or a woman's main purpose is to be a mother. I mean, those are the basic ones. This is coming from towerhamlets.gov.uk on their domestic violence tab. Oh, wow. Community and living / community safety crime / domestic violence / tackling misogyny. My bad. I'm reading the URL. I wanted to see how we got here and how this popped up on Google. Yeah, we all experience internalized misogyny, but it looks like it appears differently in men and women. Let's go back to our post and go to the comment section. I lost the post. I found the post. By C, that is not in English. This is the top comment though. Huh. Oh, there are not a lot of comments on this one either. But this has the most amount of comments so far with 94. So you can go read them all if you want to, right? Not the asshole. If her gender wasn't essential to the story, it didn't need to be mentioned, except to reinforce that male is considered the default in a patriarchal society and therefore doesn't need to be mentioned. Right? Hey, I can whistle again. We got some comments from OP, and this is her replying to. It's 6:50 p.m. I have an alarm for that. Replying to throwaway wedding woe. Oh, do you have some fun stories I can read? We're going to save you for later. Does everyone here actually know what misogyny means? People throw the word around so much, I think that people forget it's actually a really serious accusation. It's not just calling someone sexist, it's attributing a general hatred of women and a desire to diminish them. I'd actually argue this wasn't even a sex issue. It's about stereotyping jobs because I've seen just as many people make those clarifications when talking about male nurses or male secretaries as I've seen for female cops or female electricians. He gendered the cop in the second story because society as a whole associates policing with men, while because overwhelmingly it is a male dominated profession. I'm not sure if this is a everyone sucks here or you're the asshole, but I cannot stand people who throw out terms they clearly don't understand and who don't have the insight to realize sexism is not the only gender related problem. Kind of spitting here. OP replies to that. I really like your points about male nurses, and we called that out too. But like someone said, I did not call him sexist. I called out his internalized misogyny. And I do know the definition of that, and we are all guilty of it. Don't mean we should not want to get better, but I do agree with you. It does get thrown around a lot inappropriately. I just don't think this was one of those situations. I want to fight all of you guys so badly. You're spelling your grammar. You're forgetting words here. It's hurting my brain. My brain is working overtime here because I have taken medication for my ADHD and I need water. I need water to stay hydrated because my brain is working so hard and it is working hard around your spelling and it is confused. It is working hard around your grammar and it is suffering. Whew. I wish I did my better. I wish I did my job because I read this story and I thought to pull up a definition for internalized misogyny so we could go over it. But this is your homework now. You're supposed to take this home, even though you're probably already home. While you're listening to me right now, I want you to go ahead, open up Google. If you have YouTube Premium or Spotify, you can just open it up and keep this listening, keep this playing while you're listening to me, and type in internalized misogyny in men, not women, because that's going to pop up first, and go through, click a link because Google is algorithmic and it is going to show you search results that is different from mine. It is absolutely going to flip, and not be the same for me. Right. Yep. Whoop, I tried it. All right. And don't go to Wikipedia though. Yeah, I don't like that one. I don't like that one. Moving on. We're over in the Am I the Asshole subreddit with a post that is 2 years old by literally nobody 7239. These default usernames, bruh. At least it's not terrible. I can read it. Am I the asshole for confronting my family about my brother being praised for the bare minimum? Throwaway account because my brother knows my main. I, 21 female, am having a major issue with my family, especially my mom, over my brother, 23 male. To give some context, my brother and I have always been treated differently, but it's really starting to bother me more as I've gotten older. Growing up, I was expected to help out around the house, get good grades, and be involved in extracurricular activities. My brother, on the other hand, was never held to the same standards. He would get praised for doing the absolute bare minimum, like taking out the trash once in a blue moon or managing to get a C on a test he barely studied for. Hmm. Recently, things have escalated. My brother dropped out of college last year and has been living at home, working part time. My parents, particularly my mom, treat him like he's some kind of hero for even having a job, despite the fact that he contributes almost nothing to the household. Meanwhile, I'm juggling a full time university schedule, a part time job, and volunteer work to get me into med school. And yet, any accomplishment of mine is met with a good job at best. I am so sorry for clapping in y'all's ears like this. My fault. My bad. My fault. Last night was the final straw. My brother came home with groceries, something he has never done before, and my mom acted like he just donated a kidney to a dying child. She went on about how helpful and thoughtful he is. I snapped and asked her why she always praises him for doing the bare minimum while ignoring everything I do. She got defensive and told me that my brother is trying his best. I pointed out that I've been trying my best for years while any other praise he gets, and she exploded, saying I was being disrespectful and causing drama. My dad and brother both told me to drop it and apologize, but I refused. I ended up leaving the house to go cool off, but things have been tense ever since. I can't help but feel there's some underlying misogyny here. It seems like my mom has different expectations for me because I am a woman, and that my brother gets a free pass because he's a man. My friends agree with me, but my family thinks I'm overreacting and being unfair to my brother. My big brother. She didn't say that. So, am I the asshole for confronting my family about this? So, the theme, of course, again, is misogyny for this episode, but we keep seeing the word respect thrown around. This time around, it is a word disrespectful, right? Disrespectful. But disrespectful, right? We got some Googling to do. I am going to lose the post that I have here. That is crazy. All right, before we even get to the comments, before I even give my take, not the asshole, we're going to type in disrespectful, and here it is, the autofill on Google on Chrome on my desktop. It's trying to help me spell. That they're infantilizing me, right? They're helping me, but I'm forgetting how to spell. I don't write anymore. Everything is typing. And everything is just autofilling and autocorrecting for me. It's crazy. Showing a lack of respect or courtesy, impolite, right? So we're going to search Google for courtesy, impolite, and we're going to piggyback to a lack of respect, right? Respect is having the utmost admiration for someone's qualities, abilities, or achievements, right? Here, this 21-year-old is not being disrespectful, right? She is not lacking admiration for her mother's qualities, abilities, or achievements. Well, actually, maybe her ability to raise a boy, and then the lack of raising a good one, right? That would be an achievement. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. I'm going against myself here. Ignore me. Oh, impolite, right? It's an adjective. Not having or showing good manners, rude. So maybe using that, right, is maybe you can call that impolite, right? But why should I have to be polite when you're treating me unequally? There's no equity here. It's an inequitable relationship that I have between my brother, right? In the way that I am being treated, and I don't like that. And I'm trying to express that verbally instead of crashing out. And let me stop. Let me get my whole everything banned. And I actually want to do this. I like having a podcast. I'm just talking to my camera. Hi, camera. No, we're not shooting any commercials today. I'm just talking to you. Are you even on? Are you even recording? Hold on. Yes, you are. That scared me. I turned my light off to let me know if it's recording or not. Because you don't need a flashing light in a subject's face letting them know that you're recording because you told them action, right? And sometimes you want to sneakily record someone who's saying illegal things and you don't want them to know that you're recording. So you turn the tally light off that flashes bright red in their face and they will never know that you got all the information, all the dirt on them to ruin their lives. And sometimes you can just go on your phone and you can swipe down and then you can click the little record button. All right. And they'll just think that you were just, you know, being a little jerk and not really paying attention to what they were saying. But as soon as you start engaging with them again, they don't realize that you're recording them. Yep, you got to have it in your widgets. Yeah. Yeah. I just helped you out. Yeah, record your boss saying stupid shit at work. Get their ass fired. Courtesy. The definition for courtesy. Courtesy is a noun. The showing of politeness in one's attitude and behavior towards others. Why should I show politeness in my attitude and my behavior towards someone who is not doing the same thing to me? Right. Just because you gave birth to me and you raised me does not mean that I should, bend over ass backwards, right? No, no, it's crazy work right there, right? You're treating me like shit in comparison to my brother, my big brother, right? It's that, yeah, yeah, it's misogyny. Oof, oh, my face hurts. Top comments because we have it's only 76 comments. You can go read these yourself. Not the asshole. Lonely Owl 68 says, if the situation is truly as you describe, then your family is a group of raging misogynists. It does sound very lopsided in your treatment versus that of your brother. For now, do whatever you need to do to keep getting the benefit of living there, to keep your expenses low. It's hard to put up with this kind of thing indefinitely, but you have an end in sight. Med school, baby, because you smart. You smart. And this is 2 years ago, so hopefully you're already in med school. Do I have some comments from OP? Yes, I do. We're going to keep reading this. Keep your sights for your own goals high. You need to get through your pre-med and into school. Once there, apply for all the financial aid you can and get yourself out of this toxic atmosphere as soon as possible. Once you are out of there, although it would be difficult to meet all the expenses, you will feel so much better for not having to put up with it anymore. Hang in there. All the best. And for any people who are listening to this who are going through something similar and you don't have med school or any way out, go into your family's Wi-Fi, into their internet, and click on certain keywords and ban them. Certain websites ban them when your family isn't around, but their phones are. Go on their social media and click not interested. I've done this before. Click not interested on all the bullshit that's feeding into their delusion and reinforcing their ideas that they are right because they are wrong. And you know this because you are better than them, because you're about to be a doctor. You hear me cracking my knuckles? It's because I want to fight your parents. I want to fight your brother. But I can't do that for you because this story is 2 years old and this is in the past and I can't time travel. So hopefully you out, baby. Hopefully you good. How old is this? You're 21 in here. This is 2 years ago, 23. So hopefully you're already in med school. It's bachelor's, master's, then doctorates, right? You can't skip from bachelor's to med school, can you? Or is med school? I don't know enough. I went to art school and then I dropped out. And then I went to art school again and then I dropped out. And then I went to, did I do art school 3 times? No, no, I went to school to be, um, and I majored in industrial electrical maintenance. Yes, because I'm a nerdy fuck, and it seems better than being a pipe fitter. All right, to be an electrician because Sparky Boom Boom over here wanted to get my static shock on, baby, right? Because I am black in your eyes. Really, I'm African American, and all black superheroes have electric powers. It's over 1,200 days without any main continuity comic for a black character in the DC Comics universe. Yeah, I'll be on TikTok. I'll see what y'all talking about. DC, get your shit together. Marvel, get your shit together. I will pirate everything. You won't get any money out of me. Stop playing around. All right, moving on. Oh, no, we're not moving on. We're not. We're not. We're going to read comments from OP. OP replied to a deleted comment because the user got their whole page deleted or they deleted it themselves. But whatever they had, OP said, I appreciate your perspective, but now I like to offer mine. Imagine spending your entire life begging for your mother to acknowledge how hard you've worked, waiting for just a modicum of appreciation and approval, just to be continuously told that it's not enough. I've done absolutely everything I could to gain my mother's love, which my brother gets it for just existing. Which, to be clear, isn't the problem. All parents should love their children for simply existing. Maybe I didn't broach the subject in the most grateful manner, but the frustration and hurt I felt over being consistently undervalued has reached a breaking point. Every day I deconstruct the words of my mother and have to remind myself that I'm good enough. Again, maybe I didn't give any advice because I started to ramble, but if you're in a situation similar to this, meditation would help. Your boy got money. No, I don't. I'm broke because it costs too much to live in this country. It would behoove you to meditate, right? Deep breaths in through your nose and then out your mouth at a similar length, if not longer, than what I just did. Definitely longer because I got shitty lungs because your boy got asthma. Than mine. And you solely focus on your breathing, the nose going into your nose, down your windpipe, into your lungs, going into your lung sacs, and then feeding your lung sacs, going into your air sacs, and then feeding those individual oxygen molecules, right, into your bloodstream and onto your red blood cells, and then that helping you uh, exist, right, live, right, that goes around into your veins, right, solely focusing on that as you breathe in and then everything that you exhale out, right, because I can't remember every individual molecule that we exhale and all the bad shit that we exhale out as well. I'm drawing a blink, right? You focus on that for 5 minutes, your blood pressure will go down, your heart rate will go down. You will feel, hopefully, if you feel like me, a sense of physical euphoria, maybe a little bit of lightheadedness, calmness, right? And your day will just be better. Doing this will be healthy for you physically as well. Maybe it'll extend your life. I don't know. Do some research yourself, right? Don't just take my words for things as I tell you to do things, but absolutely bash a billionaire on the head. Do that. Yeah, but you have to take care of your mental health because no one else is going to do that for you. People are going to be concerned about you physically. Oh man, you cut yourself, but when your brow is furrowed a little bit, they're not going to be able to understand the complexities of relationships that you've had built up over decades in just a short conversation or a few paragraphs read online. Right? You yourself, you have to take care of you. You yourself, you have to get yourself out of bad situations. You can absolutely lean on others to help you. You can absolutely ask for help, and maybe those people can help you, verbally, physically, monetarily. But you got to put in the work. Only you have your back at the end of the day, because you wake up by yourself, you go to sleep by yourself. You were born by yourself, you will die by yourself. Even though there were people in, grabbing you as you came out, right? Look at me trying to whistle. Look at me trying to whistle. All right. We got another comment asking, info, does your brother have mental illness that you don't have or something? And OP comments, no, he has not been diagnosed with anything and doesn't display any symptoms. I, on the other hand, have been diagnosed and take medication for generalized anxiety disorder. Ooh, that's tough, right? Because we could have came on the other side and been like, hey, maybe your brother has ADHD, bipolar, depression, right? Because why did he drop out of college? Why is he only working part-time? Why does he not have his shit together? Because some percentage genetically, some very small percentage, helped you, both of you make it to college, right? You were raised well enough to make it to college, both of you. But only you are going to med school. Ignore me when I mess up words, please. And he's just working part-time. You're working your ass off to hopefully get to your dream career. Man. But it looks like he's being babied to the fullest degree. So potentially, possibly, she has worked in some messed up ideals into his head that he is living, believing unconsciously, right? He's infantilizing him to the fullest degree. Maybe not to the fullest degree, but he's on his hikikomori arc right now. And if you know read some manga, anime, you know I did a terrible pronunciation of that. But this motherfucker need to get outside. He need to get outside. He need to get to work, right? Because when I dropped out of school, my mom not physically, verbally punched me in my face and said, hey, you gonna be working or you gonna be going to school? And I was doing both. I took my ass back to school because I was undiagnosed ADHD all the way up until 30, right? I have no college degree. I got a shit ton of college credits. And if I took probably just a handful of classes, I could have an associate's degree. But I have no real formal education fully, right, that I can point to outside of some classes that I paid for, right? That's it. Just high school. Shit ton of reading and a bunch of classes over the years, but I cannot point to a degree. Right? I cannot say, hey, you should pay me $10,000 more minimum over my lifetime. $10,000 more, $1 million more, right? Because every degree you go up from bachelor's to master's to doctorates, or just purely from those with a high school education versus those with a bachelor's degree, I believe, make $1 million more over their lifetime. All right. Hold on. Quick math. If we're going to do 18 to 68, so that's 50 years, we're going to do a meal divided, that's the multiplication symbol, divided by 50. That's 20 bands. Ugh. Excuse me. That is 20 bands more every year, right? Here I am, after taxes, making somewhere between 70 to 100, right, with overtime. If I was making somewhere between 90 to $120, I'll be a happy bitch. Cause I want a bunch of camera equipment and I need about 100,000 to get everything I want. Right. And I'll be out here making movies instead of podcasts. Right. Cause I was popping my medication for my ADHD and I just went through all the websites, everything I wanted. I put it all in a spreadsheet, all in my notes. And I got into an argument during that process. Fuck that guy. And I need $113,000 after taxes to buy all the equipment I want. 40,000 minimum to get the necessities. And you see the little light right here, and there you can't see the other lights right here. But if I do this, one second. Click clack. Hey, look at that. All I got is my monitor right here, and then my Rodecaster Pro 2. That's the light, and then plus my phone. You see my face, my phone. Bing. But all this is expensive, and I bought it through working so many grueling hours over the years But there's so much gear that I want this. Why am I talking about this? Y'all don't want to hear about this shit. Why am I talking about this? Oh, yes. Right. I was able to get all of this, but this was 10 years in the making, or 6 or 7 or 8, because I bought these at different points in my life. The lights, the equipment, the stands, the camera itself, the lens, the microphone. Shit, this Rodecaster Pro 2, I got this after my very first episode. You guys heard the shitty sound quality, the audio. I wanted to bash my head into the wall because of how bad it was. I don't even think I plugged the microphone in. I think it was pure raw camera audio. Terrible. And I had to buy this immediately. But luckily enough, with my job, I was able to. But if I was making 20% more than what I already was, I wouldn't have to have thrown it in on credits. On credits. I would have just been able to cash out. Right? Because $20,000 more a year, right? Motherfucking divide that over a 52-week span, right? That's $384.62, because we're rounding up, more every single paycheck. Is that 600? Is that 300? Yeah, 384. Imagine that. That's your light bill, your gas bill, your water bill, and some food. Not the whole food bill, because I don't know how much you eating. All right, you may be eating like a rabbit or scarfing shit down like me. All right, because your boy's a big boy. And here's the fit check. Here's the fit check, baby. I don't know how far to back up because I'm not looking at my monitor. Fit check. All right.
Morphin' time! White Tiger!
Rest in peace, Jason David Frank. My favorite Power Ranger, or actor who was a Power Ranger. Right. Even though the original Black Ranger is from my hometown. Yeah, shout out to Detroit, baby. I think we're moving on because I'm just rambling. No, we got one more comment. Did your dad do the bare minimum around the house as you were growing up? I'm not condoning her behavior whatsoever, but maybe she sees when he helps as an improvement over your father, and unfortunately, you're just expected to do the womanly deeds like take care of the house and generally handle yourself to a much higher standard. 100% not the asshole for standing up for yourself, and your mother seems to be stuck in a very old-fashioned mindset. Best of luck to you. OP replies, oddly enough, my dad was very present in our household and acted as the main cook most of my childhood. Huh. Yeah, this might be definitely an old-fashioned mindset. It's probably bred from some religious values because you didn't talk about if your family was Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, or anything, right? Catholic or anything, any denomination or any other religion. But definitely that older generation, they just had these gender roles separated, baby, and that shit is not how it should be, especially now. The new poverty line is $140,000 for a family of 4, 2 parents, 2 kids. Poverty line is $140,000. What did I just tell you? I just made, right? I can't take care of a wife and 2 kids on just that. So if we're going to pretend like men should do this and women should do this, it's always the man should take care of the family monetarily, physically, put himself in danger. That shit is dumb, right? 60% of men in the American country own guns. 40% of women own guns. When you look at those who own guns, it's a 60-40 breakdown. You run it back 20 years, it used to be 80-20 if I'm not mistaken. I'm probably mistaken. Google this yourself. Don't pull all the stats out of my mouth. But yeah, man, I do not approve of the way her mother has been acting and is acting. And this is 2 years old. Hopefully OP is on her way to her medical degree and a great career. Moving on, we're over in the Am I the Asshole subreddit with a post that is 2 years old by I Heart Cheese a Lot. Am I the asshole for refusing to change my car because it embarrasses my brother? I, 17 female, am quite literally the stereotype of when a teenager gets their first car. My parents paid for my car and I paid for all the interior decorations, with the exception of the seat covers. My car is white on the outside and has pink leather seat covers. Covers, blankets, and pillows in the back, and cute charms hanging everywhere. So my brother, 16 male, is an athlete. And because my parents are tired, I drive him to his 5 a.m. practices to help them out. Oof. My brother has told me he hates my car, asked me to change it. Has thrown out some of my charms and blankets because he hates driving in a girly car. When I said no, I set him down to ask him why he does this, and he says he's embarrassed whenever I drop him off and pick him up. I asked him if he was getting made fun of at all, and he said he wasn't. And I have met all his teammates and coaches, and they do not seem like the type to tease someone for something like this. Now I would understand if this completely now I would understand this completely, except for the fact that my brother refuses to get his license because he doesn't feel like it. My parents said that if he got his license, they would pay for his car, gas, etc. But he just doesn't want to, resulting in me or my parents driving him around everywhere. Because he has the option to get his license, he just chooses not to. I don't think that it's fair for him to complain about my car when I get him to and from practices at 5 a.m. every day. And I normally buy him breakfast too because I know he is hungry. I don't ask for gas money either. Since he doesn't have a job, bro. I told him this and asked him to pay me for the thrown out charms and blankets, which is around $30. He went ballistic and said that it was unfair to him and threatened to rip my expensive seat covers if I didn't change the car. My parents are on my side, but but said that maybe I could get rid of some of the pink for him. So am I the asshole? No. Actually, you are 1 year older than him. 1 year's older than him. 1 year. You are the asshole for not punching your brother in the stomach. You hit him with the feint up top to the face and go straight to the body. You drive it to the body. What are you doing? Siblings shouldn't fight, right? But you should whoop your brother's ass for throwing your shit away that you paid for. And he doesn't even have a job, so you can't even like run up in his room and take some money out of his wallet because he ain't got shit. And then you're spending all this money on his breakfast. And your parents said that they would pay for his vehicle, insurance and gas. Are they doing this for you? They pay for your vehicle. You pay for the decorations. Are they paying for your gas? They're definitely paying for your insurance because this is their insurance because you're 17, and they would do the same thing for him. You probably got your car years ago, potentially, maybe, possibly. You're gonna go to the top comment. Oh, this one got hella comments. 231 by Big Country 124. Not the asshole. Stop driving his ungrateful ass everywhere. Actually, Boeing 367-80 said, quote, I don't want you to be uncomfortable, so I'm not going to drive you in my car anymore. Because what entitled, spoiled ass 16-year-old tells someone to change their vehicle? Bitch, I don't got multiple cars. Why would a 17-year-old have multiple whips? How rich is this family, actually? Paying for 4 vehicles, insurance, gas, expensive leather seat covers, 5 a.m. practice every day. Oh, y'all rich. Y'all rich. Ooh. Y'all got money. Okay. By by Professor Yaffle 1. My brain is fried trying to read that. Not the asshole. You are doing him a huge favor. Let him know that as he hates driving in your girly car, he no longer has to. He can organize a different way to get to his early practices. Also, unless your parents have made clear to him that he needs to replace your property, which he destroyed, they aren't really on your side. What did they do about him stealing / destroying your stuff? Yeah, because he chucked it in the trash. Like, what are we doing here? You got to talk to your parents. Yeah, if they're vibing like this, they're on the wrong wavelength. It just, no. This is unacceptable behavior by your parents, and they've raised him to think this way. And again, be this entitled and be this ungrateful and be this fucking spoiled. I don't think I was offered a whip. I'm sorry, a car, a vehicle, a truck at 16. Right. 14 and a half, you can go for your provisional license. As a matter of fact, I was on bullshit timing. I got my license at 18, so I definitely wouldn't have been offered a vehicle then. But I was spoiled, and I did get a car when I was 18. I got a old school stick shift. I believe it was an Oldsmobile, and I crashed that in college. That's why I stopped going, because I had trauma. But this episode is about misogyny, not trauma. So we're gonna go over to a comment that OP replied to, because OP left some comments by Keto Lurker here. Keto is not a diet you should be on, not the asshole. And your parents need to nip this hating pink girly shit stuff in the bud. Now, it is a symptom of thinking women as lesser, and I don't know if that's what he sees at home or if he's listening to some toxic manosphere shit, but that's actually the real problem. Your parents even suggesting that you get rid of some of the pink is a part of the problem. There is nothing wrong with pink, right? And OP replied to this. I am half Latin American, with my mom being an immigrant, and machismo culture is really big down there. So my brother and I were raised in that culture. I realized how this culture was harmful to young women and men at a young age, but I don't think my brother ever did. I've expressed concern to my dad, who is just white, limphal. LMAO. Ooh, limphal. I don't like that. I don't like saying that out loud. And he just kind of realized that this type of culture isn't a good one to be brought up in. But my mom thinks it's us embracing part of our culture. No, no, bad mom. No. Just because it's your culture and you have traditions and you grew up in them, that does not mean shit. All right. This is just ideals forced on you by people who are now dead that you have never met. Right. Take those parts of the culture that you like and run with them, and the parts of the culture that you don't like, that are old, that are outdated, that need to be changed, and chuck them in the trash, right? You can then push forward new traditions that have been modified. You do not have to be beholden to traditions that are 500 or 1,000 years old, let alone 2. You do better than every previous generation. This is what is required of you as a human being. You do not stay the same. You adapt and you evolve. You are an animal. Everything around you changes. So should you. For the better. Ugh. All right. All right, we got a comment in reply to the comment that OP replied to, and OP replied to that comment. So we're going to read that comment. It's comment inception, because these are just comment threads, right? By Intelligent Apple 840, a lot of reviled women's fashion came from male trends, often the military. Yeah, like the fade, like the taper haircut. It would be adopted at court by both men and women. Women would do it better / so well that the style became associated with women instead of its previous super masculine military associations. And then men would stop wearing it / start reviling it. Am I pronouncing that right? Tell me if I'm not. I don't think I've ever said that word out loud. High heels. Mounted archers wore high-heeled boots to stand in stirrups. I did not know that. And epaulets are 2 examples of this. I've never heard of that word. That's a new word. We're going to Google. I probably said it wrong.
Epaulette.
Oh, epaulette. An ornamental shoulder piece on an item of clothing, especially on the coats of a jacket or military. Those big ass motherfucking side shoulder pieces. Huh. Shit is ugly. Yeah, some British shit. Do we do that? I guess we kind of do the ropes, and then we got some buttons, so we don't have epaulets like that. I've also heard that up until the late 19th century, the idea of associating a color with gender wasn't really a thing. But it was a bit of a trend for marketing slash ad departments to dress small children who otherwise look alike in colors that signal gender. The boys were dressed in tones seen as vibrant and active, like pink, while the girls dressed in tones seen as soft and gentle, like blue. Then at some point it flipped, and the visual association became pink for girls and blue for boys. But it's really yet another example of how thoroughly ads and marketing shape social views and attitudes. This is probably like 1940s, 1950s Macy ads by those ad companies. There's a TV show where the main character is, I think, a piece of shit, but he works for an ad agency. And this is kind of close to um, not fictitious advertising information that you can go watch that show, right? It's definitely during that time period. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Pink is for girls, blue is for boys. It's definitely during the early 1900s that this got thrown into our faces, right? Because you have a point where you're going from radio and audio and newspaper in the 1800s to the early 1900s, the tens, the teens to the 20s, the 30s, and into the 40s, where you have movies and television, right? And those are being seen by millions of people. It is in their households. So advertising definitely became a huge thing. And that started to shape how people view things. So yeah, you can look it up yourself. And it should be pretty spot on with the information online. Right? It's not too old where you should be able to get the correct information for yourself. I believe it's Macy campaigns, though. I believe. I'm not too sure. We got another comment and a comment underneath that OP replied to. Not the asshole. Your parents need to hold their child accountable by unethical food. And Veterus71 replies, OP thinks the parents are on her side while they tell her to get rid of some of the pink to make him happy. They're conditioning her to accept abusive behavior from men. And OP replies, yeah, honestly, seeing how I don't think they're on my side. Honestly, seeing, damn. Yeah, my neighbor, man. My neighbor with his fucking car. I thought he left. I didn't even know he came back. I don't even know if he's a he. He might be a she. She might be just, wow. Honestly, seeing how I don't think they are on my side. Honestly, seeing how I don't think they are on my side. That read weird to me for a second. I think I forgot to add that I'm half Latin American, with my mom being an immigrant, and my machismo culture is really big there. And my brother and I were raised in it. So that's kind of why my brother acts the way he does. Oh, we got a reply to that. That might be a little interesting. I didn't read this one. Annie Flamingo 8978. To be frank, it could also be why you're asking if you're the asshole. I know it's the name of the sub, but just because your behavior is part of your culture does not mean that you should accept it as fact. Work to change it and your perspective as well. It's not healthy for anyone. And honestly, a strong boy or man would not be bothered by something as meaningless as a color. Be the example for your family. Yes. Yeah. You teach people and hit them with new information, they will change their minds. We got a couple more comments from OP. I got a bunch from OP. Why did I do that? I must have been happy with all these comments that I read them. OP replied, oh, it's the same person again. Veritas71. OP, I'm concerned that you've been conditioned to accept abusive behavior towards you. It's very disturbing that after your brother stole from you, destroyed your things, and threatened to do it again, you are still getting up crazy early to give him free rides and buying him breakfast and so on. Why? Is this how you're going to let a boyfriend or husband treat you? Also, please don't gaslight yourself. Your parents are very clearly not on your side. And OP replies, yeah, this was honestly such a big wake up call. Like reading the comments made me realize how I have normalized to accept this behavior from guys and how my parents are definitely not actually helping me in this scenario. I will be taking extra precautions going forward. I really truly hope you do, because this is a dynamic that can be different when you're actually with a partner. You will like so much about them. You will let the things that you dislike about them be minimalized in your own mind, and you may not care about them, right? You may push them to the side, to the back of your mind, and things will slowly build up and they will treat you in such a way that you will stop liking it. And one day they may, and that is not a good thing for you, right? So you definitely need to educate yourself on how these things are bad. By Speed Damon 3, what car is it? My first car was embarrassing too, but it was better than walking and free. When I started making my own money, I got the car I wanted. Also, since you're a girl, what's wrong about driving a girly car? OP replies, it's a used white Jeep Wrangler. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know about cars, but I do know it was expensive for a first car. Yes, girl, I drove a stick shift. I am super grateful for my parents buying it for me, and I'll do my best to take care of it. Let me see like a 2010. Let me see about a 2010 fucking a Jeep Wrangler, a white Jeep Wrangler. I'm talking about the shit is girly because it's pink on the inside. Man, that pink accents go hard. Go hard, boy. 2010 Jeep Wrangler. Let me see what that's looking like used. Used. Let me see a price for it. For sale. I didn't even have to type that in. Carfax. Yeah, show me the car. Oh, Jesus. I was zoomed all the way in. Carfax. 10 bands, 11 bands, 10, 10, 5, 10, 9, 11, 9, 11, 7, 12, 9, 10, 4, 10, 9, 11, 9. And this is the older Jeep Wrangler. But even then, this is still a clean motherfucker right here. Even this boy, this Rubicon. Yeah, damn. I'm going to put this in a video. Damn. That's a terrible picture. It's clean. Ooh. Oh, and I'm not a fan of the way these. Ooh, I'm not a fan of this style of Jeep, and I own a Jeep. And I'm a bougie motherfucker. I got that anniversary boy, but I got that used too. Nah, I ain't get no new shit, cause my credit is fucked. Let me see. Oh, I saved this comment for last. Hey, OP. Unrelated to your Am I the Asshole question, but you mentioned all your decorations. I just want to make sure you didn't put any ornaments or rhinestones over the emblem of your steering wheel or the panels where the airbags deploys them for during a collision. It turns them into projectiles. The most common one that's super dangerous is steering wheel bling, like the little rhinestone ones. Those turn into shrapnel that goes straight for the eyes, and it can permanently blind you. Tricking out your interior is super cool. Keep enjoying it. Just make sure you're doing it safely, right? You got airbags that deploy from your steering wheel, that deploy from underneath your headliner, right, which is right around the roof of your vehicle. How do I describe it? You close your door right there where the top of your roof is at the corner. You will have airbags deploy all along the sides, on both sides, to keep you from absolutely getting messed up. Definitely don't put things there. Do not. You don't want sharp things going into your dome, because airbags deploy via jet fuel and move at several hundred miles per hour. I think over 100, definitely at a minimum. And that's not okay, right? Subsonic bullets fly at several hundred miles per hour, right? Subsonic is less than 600 miles per hour, I believe. I believe. Supersonic 600 miles per hour. Supersonic. Hold on. Well, but then again, I just type in subsonic. Subsonic. 340 meters per second, 1,164 feet per second is how many fucking miles per hour? Good Lord. Supersonic is 800, but subsonic is 76 to 383 miles per hour. Oh, okay. Then you have subsonic plus and transonic. We're not going to deal with that. So less than supersonic speeds is 843 miles per hour. Right. And oh wow, there are a lot of speeds. We're not going to get lost in that. OP replies, "Oh yeah, I didn't. I read about them and got scared. So I didn't buy anything that went over my steering wheels or panels. They are all like little plushies and a Sony bagel babies I put everywhere. That is cute. That is cute. Enjoy the things you enjoy. That is cute. But don't accidentally hurt yourself." And we have an edit. I love posts with edits from OP. I know this is a long one. It's been a few days, and thanks for all the support. After reading the comments, I had to sit down with my parents and had a talk with them about this issue. They tried to kind of defend my brother. I cut them off as soon as they tried and blatantly told them that this was a bigger issue than just a girly car, but one rooted in sexism and disrespect. It was a long talk, around 2 hours of me just essentially saying what all the comments were saying. Shrapnel! Shrapnel! And telling my mom specifically, I will not tolerate sexism, misogyny, and disrespect that is rooted in machismo's culture. By the end, they were quiet, and I told them until my brother apologized, got his permit, paid me back for everything, I wouldn't be helping. You can't see me. They said they understood and apologized to me, and it seemed sincere enough. Then I told my brother that I wouldn't be driving him anymore, and he looked confused. But I told him that my mom and dad could explain it. Even after all of this, he didn't understand. The spelling for everybody online hurts my soul. The next day, I was out with a friend, and when I came home, my brother came up to me and asked if we can talk. Of course. And I said, and we went to his room where I saw 3 new blankets, some new plushies that I used to keep in my car, and he gave me $100 from his savings. Ooh. And had a talk where he apologized for thrashing my things and thanked me for everything I did. He said that my mom and dad talked with him about these issues, plus the internal sexism, and never realized how degrading this was. He apologized again and said that he would work on it. So whatever my parents said got through to him. And honestly, this was probably one of the most genuine apologies I've ever received. So I accepted it. But I still made it clear I wouldn't be helping him out, which he understood. He actually signed up for driver's ed today and is scheduled to get his permit next month. My parents started taking him to practice in the early mornings and are feeling it. I'm super grateful it ended up this way, and I will be redecorating my car to make it safer. Thanks, everyone. Girl, did you have some rhinestones on your steering wheel? Why did it sound like you didn't in that comment you replied to, but you will be redecorating to make it safer? Girl. All right. But I love a positive ending to a story, especially these Am I the Asshole ones, because this hurts my brain. Moving on. We're over in the Am I the Asshole subreddit with a post that is 2 years old by Effective Force 2764. Am I the asshole for what I said to my sister when she defended our parents? I, 20, non binary, have a sister, Dahlia, 18, female. And it's important to the story that she's a trans woman. Now, I love my sister, but our parents were awful to me. They neglected me. I only saw a dentist once in my life. I needed glasses for years and was never taken to get them. My health was ignored. I rarely got new toys or clothes. I was constantly being torn down for every little thing. I was constantly being asked to take on more responsibility. Dahlia got the opposite treatment. Any issue she had was doted on right away. She was constantly getting new toys and money and later on electronics from our parents. She could do no wrong, even when she hurt me. And I was expected to constantly take care of her too. It's no secret to me why our parents favor Dahlia so much. Our parents have a history of misogyny, and to them, I exist to be a dutiful maid and daughter, as well as to marry some guy and pop out kids, while Dahlia was their child who they loved. Things are better now. Dahlia and I are both out of the house, and while my parents are still exhausting and micromanaging, they've mellowed out a bit over the years, and I don't live with them anymore, so it's tolerable. I still try to avoid contact with them as much as possible, though, because of the trauma they've inflicted on me. Dahlia hates this. She hates that I don't talk to our parents and says I have no reason to, when they took care of me for 18 years and were model parents. I told Dahlia that she wouldn't understand because the parents their precious boy got for 18 years was different than the parents I got, and she didn't have to deal with their misogyny growing up. Ooh. She got angry and told me that trans women deal with misogyny too, and that I was treating her like a man who couldn't understand misogyny. I told her that I know trans women are women and can experience misogyny, but she didn't growing up. Our parents always favored her. Dahlia called me transphobic and left. At the time, I felt justified because our parents did abuse and neglect me for her because they thought she was a boy. And I believe that is why she always defended them. But now I'm starting to feel guilty. Girl, don't. I support Dahlia and I support trans women as a whole. And maybe I did say something insensitive or at least hurtful to Dahlia. I don't want to hurt her or make her feel like less of a woman. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything about her assigned gender at all and just focused on her being our parents' favorite without pointing out why. Are you the asshole for what you said? No, 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 no. This is complex, but you are the next generation carrying this forward. You are being progressive. You are not being conservative. You are not being stuck in your ways. You are pushing forward complex topics that the world deserves. As we tackle issues and we solve them, we move on to more niche issues that can be the large issues that we handle and take care of, right? 100 years ago, we had to figure out shit, and 100 years ago before that, my people had to get out of slavery, right? The issues that we tackled from the 1820s to the 1920s, right? The Great Depression are different than the current issues we tackle now. The COVID 20s are pretty much the same as the Roaring 20s, so I'm not gonna lie. All right, the economic issues that we're having. Motherfuckers aren't growing their own food to eat because we're kind of barely experiencing a famine because of our poor policy and regulatory. Uh, fuck. Let me stay on topic. Oh my god. Let me stay on topic. Oh. All right, we're gonna go straight to the comment section, right? But you're not the asshole. Chuck and Hotex. Boy, what is this? What? Chuck, girl, they. This is interesting. And these usernames, not the asshole. The irony is that trans folks are often saying something along the lines of other people are not understanding their experience. In your case, she is not even trying to understand yours. On some level, it's this simple. Dahlia, My experience in growing up is not about you. It's about me. To the extent that it is about you, it is because you were favored. You were not treated as a woman growing up while I was. You did not experience the demeaning neglect I did. If you refuse to see that this is my experience, then you are no better than anyone you have a problem with who does not see you as you are. Telling you this does not make me transphobic, and you saying it does begs the question as to whether you see anything outside of yourself at all. Chuck, you spitting, boy. Girl. I'm a dude. She's a dude. And he's a dude. Because we're all dudes. Yeah. OP, copy paste this. Send this. Oh shit, this is 2 years old. Tough. But this comment is also 2 years old. So OP is 22 and Dahlia is 20 now. They have gone through college. They have had some life experience. Dahlia is probably fresh out of high school with this one, or in her first year, freshman year of college. Hopefully they went to college so they can educate themselves and live good lives. Ooh. OP doesn't reply to any comments, if I'm not mistaken, which is kind of sad to me. But hopefully she read all these comments, or they read all these comments because they're non-binary. Hopefully they read all these comments. And to help the people out who are listening, who don't understand, OP, the older sibling, was raised as a biological female. And OP's sister is currently a trans woman, but was biologically born and raised as a male. So we have a younger sibling who was doted on by their mother, and the oldest sibling had to take care of the house, right? Do the womanly duties, and was trained into a role of subservience, which is not fucking it, right? So now, as they're grown ass adults, but still babies, in 2018, 22 and 20 now, OP is non-binary, and their sister is a trans woman, so a she, and definitely has lived their entire life as a boy. So unpacking all the shit they have to unpack to transition mentally and potentially physically, they need to click their brain over into being a chick and understand everything that they experienced was that as a boy, which is a lots. If you feel like you are not your sex, which you are not just your fucking gender, your sex, you are not just that. You are a very complex being. Go get some therapy, right? It'll help you understand who you are, and hopefully a good therapist will help you navigate through the complexities of the life that you have, that you're living. And yeah, you go get a yearly checkup. You go to the dentist twice a year. Yearly checkup twice a year. You should go to a therapist at least once a season, 4 times a year. 1, 2, 4, right? And if your therapist deems it once a month, bi-weekly, weekly, or if you really need it, twice a week, right? You may be going through things that requires real help. And hopefully you got the money to go to the therapy. Oof. Sometimes there are programs that can help you out. Sometimes your job may cover it to a degree. Luckily, my job covers 12 weeks, right? So if I wanted to go once a month, I'd be cool. But your boy got ADHD, so I am required to go because I'm on medication. I think I'm required. But I go every other week because I'm pretty straight. But it feels so good to cuss and fuss to a unbiased person who does not know me about my life. I feel so relaxed or mentally drained afterwards sometimes. It's depending on what we talk about. I enjoy my therapist. And sometimes if you're not receptive all the way to what your therapist is talking about, you can go online Like my brain's wired a little differently. I enjoy the science and the math and the stats and the studies. And my therapist isn't always hitting me with that. So sometimes, well, not anymore, but previously when I was heading to, no, I just started. And before I was looking at the gamer guy. I forgot his name. He's a therapist on YouTube who, I mean, he's a therapist, but also does YouTube and talks about stuff that's male oriented because we're fucked up in the heads and we need help. Women are taking care of their mental health, men are not. So we need advice from men to help us because we're a bunch of misogynists and we don't listen to women. So we need to have a man pick us up like a baby and carry us out of the carry us out of the kiddie pool into the adult side and help us learn how to swim and properly maneuver through life, right? Because God, we're offing ourselves at such a high rate, right? Here in America, we were on a downward trend, and now we're back up to, I believe, World War II levels. What? What? We're back up to World War II levels after the 2008 financial crisis. We've just been trending back upwards. I believe. I believe I saw stats for that in a YouTube video. You can go find the information for yourself year by year. You can look at it, and even then, the people who attempt to take their own lives but stop or improperly finish what they started is, of course, a higher rate. And women attempt, I believe, 3 times more than men do, but men finish the job. Oh, that sounds terrible. 2 times more than women do. Why? Because women are on more medication for their mental health, right, than men are. While men are at an equal level taking more Viagra. Holy shit. Women are taking antidepressants at a higher level than men, and at an equal level, men are taking ED drugs rather than taking antidepressants, and they are offing themselves twice as more than women are. Men, you should seek help and not let any biases that you have ingrained into your mind based upon how you've been raised stop you from bettering yourself, right? Sitting down with a doctor and listening to them, it's not a bad thing. If you can afford it, if you have to pay it a $10, $25 copay, if it's $100, do it, right? Like I said, once a quarter. Once a quarter. Find some free groups. Go online. Maybe there are therapists out here who are helping out. Don't go through BetterHelp. Don't do that. Don't go through them. Ugh. Ooh. Did OP have any comments? OP did not have any comments. From No Interaction 1456, they comment, not the asshole, I'm trans. I support trans women. But it absolutely takes them a few years of actually dealing with misogyny for them to get it. It's just impossible to actually experience without experiencing it. Yeah, sometimes you need to get knocked on the head. Remade for me replies to them and says, yeah, I'm not trans, but my friend group is heavily trans. And I met several of them right when they started to transition. It was a shock for me because of how deeply misogynistic they were. It was clear they hadn't unpacked a lot of internalized misogyny, and being that they were almost all in their late 20s / early 30s, there was a lot of unpacking to do. It's been years, and now they're all much less misogynistic, which is great for me because I enjoy hanging out with them. But they used to make me very uncomfortable with how often they dismissed issues brought up by AFAB people in the group because they hadn't experienced it themselves. An 18-year-old baby trans woman just hasn't done the work yet, even ignoring the family dynamics involved here. Yeah. I don't know what AFAB is. Whoop. Google. You should always. Oh, right over here to Reddit. What do AFAB, AGAB, AMAB mean? AFAB, AGAB, AMAB. I've been non binary for 2 years and I've never heard of these terms. I would like to know what they mean because I might look into it. Oh, I'm dumb. AFAB means assigned female at birth. AGAB means assigned gender at birth. And AMAB means assigned male at birth. Duh. Duh, 10. It's just a way for people to reference the gender they were assigned when they were born. Okay. Sometimes you're silly, sometimes you're not. Right. Sometimes you just don't know. Right. I knew, but I didn't know. I didn't know the acronym. So we're moving on. We're over in the Am I the Asshole subreddit with a post that's 2 years old by Dear Egg 9618. Am I the asshole for offering a solution of what rules to play 8-ball that did was not sensitive to a gender divide? 2 male/female couples were squaring off in a game of 8-ball. 2 male 38, 2 female 35. Typically, when I miss my shot, I don't shoot again if the target ball sinks in a random hole. My partner said it still counts and we get to go again. The guy on the other team agreed with me that he doesn't play like that either, but my partner and her counterpart prefer to play their way. In order to solve the problem, I said, how about we play our way, then you can play your way? She found this misogynistic and said there was no way there should be separate rules for men and women in the game, and I am an asshole to suggest such a thing. In fact, she made a point to make a display about how misogynistic that was in public, and I was berated outside the pool hall afterwards for not seeing it her way. Am I the asshole for not being cognizant of gender when suggesting a different set of rules? I can understand this is a persuasive. I can understand that this is a pervasive issue among women, so I can understand where she's coming from. But I find this excessive and unnecessarily gendering a simple solution to continue our match. And we got to edit. After research, misogyny is referenced as prejudice towards women. The fact that 2 other members who wanted to play by a different set of rules were women did not affect my judgment at all when presenting the solution, and thusly, I don't find it fair to deem it as misogynistic. I'm not about to play a team game against another team while I'm operating on a different set of rules than my partner and one of my opponents is, while operating on the same set of rules as one of my opponents. That just seems like a weird, unfair advantage, but it's somehow balanced out at the same time. I just want to play the same because it's going to mess up my head and it's going to mess up my focus. Everyone sucks here for not coming to a conclusion and playing like that. And it seems like your partner is wilding a little bit, but I don't play 8-ball or pool, actually. We got top comments by 6 Hour Power 320. Not the asshole. She made it about sex instead of about what it was really about. You and the other male agreed to play by actual rules of pool, and they wanted to play by the rules that most novice play by. It had nothing to do with men and women. She's an asshole for trying to make it out to be something it wasn't. This is one of my biggest pet peeves. People who want to make everything into a male versus female or race issue. Everything is a race issue, right? Or a capitalism issue. And then we got the reply underneath. Totally agree as a woman. OP is not the asshole. He offered a fair solution, allowing 2 pairs used to playing with different house rules to play by their usual house rules instead of having either pair have to conform to the other's house rules. It maybe could have been misogyny if he insisted that the women have to play by the men's rules because they are the actual rules of 8-ball, but he didn't do that. And then Callie the Blaze replies to that comment, "What in no world is it misogyny to want to play by the standard rules of the game? That's a ridiculous take." Hey, I can whistle again. Oh, that sucks. We got key article 6622 with a paragraph. Oh, 2 edits. Holy shit. It sounds like some of these people have only been exposed to APA, American Pool Players Association rules, while others have been only exposed to BCA, Billiard Congress of America rules. Both sets of rules are valid, but a huge advantage is given to the APA players if you mix the rules. In APA rules, you just have to call the ball that is meant to go in, but are not required to call the pocket or any caroms or banks. In BCA, you must call the ball and the pocket, but still don't have to call caroms or banks. I'm not Googling these terms because I'm not interested in playing pool. It's just making my head hurt thinking about it. By the way, this is the last story. Yeah, we're keeping it simple, but I have a headache. I need to hydrate. That's what it is. The edit. I have 20 plus years experience playing bar league pool, 7 or so in APA leagues, and the rest in BCA leagues. I should also note that every league has the right to alter or omit rules as it deems fit. For instance, one league I played in got enough votes to limit the 8-ball on the break rule, so making the 8-ball on the break wasn't an instant win. The 8 was spotted, and even if the 8 was the only one to go in, the person who broke continued shooting, declaring stripes are solid on their next shot. My brain is fried trying to read this. Another didn't like the 3-foul rule. In league play, it is not only legitimate to miss a shot on purpose, but a sound strategic move called a safe shot. Make legal contact and bury the cue ball so the opponent can't make legal contact, and that's a foul. 3 fouls in a row is an automatic loss. I have won and lost more than a few games under this rule, and being good at it is an art. On a normal Friday night, a safe shot is highly frowned on and can lead to intense arguments. In league play, being good at safe shots separates the men and women from the boys and girls. Two. Edit 2, I have never seen a professional open tournament use APA rules, strictly BCA rules. And I don't think I've ever seen a professional open tournament use altered rules, strictly by the book. And we got a reply. This is what I came for. So I have a question. Which set of rules would you say is more likely to be used in a casual Friday night hangout? And the guy with the comments, with the information, the professional for 20 years, says, on a casual Friday night game, most of the places I've ever played use standard BCA rules. If you're in a place you haven't played before and you are playing someone you don't know, you should ask if they're okay with standard BCA rules. If you're playing friends, agree on one set of rules, don't mix. The audacity for me to be doing laundry and have my AC pop on like that. Terrible. And OP did not reply to any of these comments. I do not see any comments by him, and that makes me sad. I really hope he made up with his partner, because he would be 40 now, and she would be 37. They might have kids and everything. They might be married. Yeah. It's kind of boring to leave off on this post right here. But to bring it down from a really high level down to something simple, right? Where we're just throwing around buzzwords rather than properly using them. The realities are, for something as simple as this, it's not about how you say it or what you say. It's about how it's perceived, right? It doesn't matter if I'm coming across with the best information possible. If someone perceives me to be saying it as an asshole, which most of the time they do, right? And I am one. They're not going to take in the information. I may be giving them advice to make $1 million tomorrow, right? And they tweak off, stop listening to some of the things I'm saying, and they start thinking about how to reply, how to insult, how to say that I'm wrong, or just any plethora of things, right? So to not dwell into anything super deep, right? Ponder what you say. Don't just come off the cuff with it. And when you're receiving information, don't always presume someone to be coming at you with malintent, right? Because there's no one who's really a wholeheartedly 100% good person out there. Everyone is flawed. No one is perfect, right? Being able to have open, honest conversations and to be receptive is always a good thing. Being open to learning and working on bettering yourself and growing is always a good thing. And understanding that people go through so many experiences and this forms their own biases is a good lesson to take in, right? All right. I want you all to have a beautiful, wonderful night, day, week, month, year, and I'll see you on the next episode. I have been your host, Mr. Always on 10, and I appreciate you for watching the Intelligent Idiots podcast. Thank you. Oh, I can whistle.